Chapter 1. The beginning of the battle. SCP-682, the infamous reptilian creature known for its extreme resilience and hostility, found itself in a strange new world. It had been transported to a realm filled with all manner of monstrous creatures, each one more terrifying than the last. As it looked around, it could see creatures of all shapes and sizes, from small, insect-like monsters to massive, towering beasts. The first creature to approach SCP-682 was a low-tier monster, a small, lizard-like creature with sharp claws and teeth. It lunged at SCP-682, but the creature simply swatted it away with ease. It was clear that this creature was no match for SCP-682's immense strength and durability. As SCP-682 continued to face off against more and more monsters, it quickly became apparent that none of them posed a real threat to it. It effortlessly dispatched each one, its powerful jaws and claws tearing through their flesh with ease. It seemed as though nothing in this world could challenge SCP-682. Chapter 2. The Search for a Worthy Opponent. As SCP-682 continued its rampage through the world of monsters, it began to grow bored. It craved a challenge, something that could truly test its limits. It wanted to find a creature that could rival its own power and ferocity. It wasn't long before SCP-682's wish was granted. It came face to face with a creature unlike any it had ever seen before. This creature was massive, with scales as hard as steel and teeth as sharp as knives. It exuded an aura of power and danger that made even SCP-682 pause for a moment. This creature was a true challenge for SCP-682. It fought back with all its might, matching SCP-682 blow for blow. The two creatures clashed in a fierce battle, their roars echoing through the land. It was a battle of titans, a clash of unstoppable forces. Chapter 3. The Ultimate Showdown. As the battle raged on, it became clear that this creature was no ordinary monster. It was a true rival for SCP-682, a creature that could potentially surpass even its own power. The two creatures fought with all their might, neither one willing to back down. The battle was intense, with both creatures sustaining heavy injuries. But neither one was willing to give up. They continued to fight, their determination unwavering. It was a battle of wills as much as it was a battle of strength. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, one of the creatures emerged victorious. It was SCP-682, its body battered and bruised but still standing strong. The other creature lay defeated at its feet, its once fearsome form now nothing more than a lifeless husk. As SCP-682 looked down at its fallen opponent, it felt a sense of satisfaction. It had finally found a creature that could rival its own power, a creature that had pushed it to its limits. And in that moment, SCP-682 knew that it had truly met its match. The end. Chapter 1. The Beginning of the Battle. SCP-682, the infamous indestructible reptilian creature, found itself in a strange new world filled with all manner of monstrous creatures. It had been transported to a realm where monsters from the Monster Hunter universe roamed freely, and it wasted no time in asserting its dominance. The first opponents to challenge SCP-682 were the low-tier monsters, such as the small and agile Jagras and the lumbering Great Jagras. These creatures were no match for the sheer power and ferocity of SCP-682, as it easily dispatched them with a flick of its massive tail or a swipe of its razor-sharp claws. As SCP-682 continued to face off against more and more monsters, it began to encounter stronger and more formidable foes. The fearsome Anjanath, with its fiery breath and massive size, put up a good fight against SCP-682, but ultimately fell to the relentless onslaught of the reptilian beast. Chapter 2. The Search for a Worthy Opponent. As SCP-682 continued to battle its way through the Monster Hunter universe, it began to grow bored with the lackluster challenges presented by its opponents. It craved a true test of its strength, a creature that could rival or even surpass its own power. It was then that SCP-682 caught wind of a legendary monster known as Fatalis, a creature said to be the most powerful and fearsome beast in the entire Monster Hunter universe. Determined to prove its dominance, SCP-682 set out in search of this elusive creature, eager to finally face a worthy opponent. Chapter 3. The Clash of Titans. After a long and arduous journey, SCP-682 finally came face to face with Fatalis, the legendary black dragon that had eluded it for so long. The two creatures locked eyes, each sizing up the other in a silent challenge of strength and power. The battle that ensued was nothing short of epic, as SCP-682 and Fatalis clashed with a ferocity that shook the very foundations of the world around them. Fire and acid clashed in a dazzling display of power, as the two titans fought tooth and claw for supremacy. In the end, it was impossible to determine a clear victor, as both SCP-682 and Fatalis were left battered and bruised from their epic battle. But as they stood panting and exhausted, a mutual respect formed between the two creatures, a recognition of each other's power and strength. And so, SCP-682 returned to its own world, satisfied that it had finally found a worthy opponent capable of rivaling its own power. The battle had been fierce, but in the end, it had been a true test of strength and skill, one that SCP-682 would never forget.